What's going on, guys? Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I'm Jeffrey Cooperstein. Just wanted to come at you with a couple of news and rumors items before the weekend hits. I'm heading on vacation. Ironically enough, I'm heading out to LA, so maybe I'll go out and see Luka there. But just wanted to get you guys up to date on all of the latest going on with the Mavs. We'll talk about the game last night. But first, we have to start off with the Daniel Gafford injury news. And it's unfortunate. According to Charania and Tim MacMahon of ESPN, Gafford has suffered a grade 3 MCL sprain. I just want to make sure I got the verbiage right there. A grade 3 MCL strain and will miss at least 6 weeks, according to ESPN. I was looking at a couple of, medical people, medical professionals who know the severity of the injury and how long it could take. And the average amount of time that Daniel Gafford could miss with this type of injury is 26 games. Well, the Mavericks have right around that left in the season, so it doesn't look good for Daniel Gafford returning for the rest of the 2024-25 regular season. Now, if the Mavericks do make the playoffs, make the play-in, he could potentially return there, but as of right now, I would be surprised if we saw Gafford for the remainder of the regular season, and it's just another significant injury blow to this team, who is now going to be without their three bigs, literally their three bigs. Anthony Davis is out at least a couple more weeks, maybe even more than that, depending whether or not he needs surgery. Dereck Lively is out till at least April with his broken foot, and now Gafford out until at least April with an MCL sprain. So the Mavericks are extremely thin at the big man spot. Now, they do have a roster spot open, but the way everything works, I'm not exactly sure if they can sign someone to a veteran minimum, given where they sit within the luxury tax and the first apron and whatnot. But I think they could sign a couple of guys to maybe a 10-day deal. But the options out there are not very good. You're talking about the likes of Mo Bamba, or there's a couple of other. You're looking at Udoka Azubuike or Marquise Bolden or Moses Brown or Colin Castleton or those type of guys. So the options aren't very thick, so to speak, for the Mavericks. I know that's a weird word to use, but there aren't many options out there for the Mavs. What I would do if I was Dallas, I would sign Jamarion Sharp to a 10-day contract coming out of the All-Star break. Like I said, he's down there in Frisco already. He's been with the Mavericks before. He knows the coaching staff. He knows the system and what they're trying to do. He's 7'5", so he can at least give you some size on the defensive end and block some shots. Now, I'm not expecting him to do anything whatsoever offensively, but Jamarion Sharp is a guy I think could at least hold his own on a 10-day deal. We'll get to the rest of the show here in just a few moments, but I do want to tell you guys about our sponsor, which of course is PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. PrizePicks has over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, making daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick two or more on at least on two-player stat projections. You just pick more or less, and you watch the winnings roll in some real time. All-Star Weekend is almost here, and it is now or never, so you can watch your favorite players in events like the three-point contest or the game itself, and make sure you get that real money action with our friends over at PrizePicks. The best place to do it in over 30 states, including California, Georgia, Texas, and of course Florida. They put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. And how do you do it? It is super easy. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive that bonus. It is guaranteed. Again, download the app, use code CLNS to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. It is PrizePicks. Run your game. That link will be clickable in the comments and the description of today's show. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring Mavericks Today, as always. All right, let's get to the game last night, which the Mavericks had absolutely zero business winning against the Miami Heat, because you were out Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Dereck Lively, Anthony Davis, Dwight Powell. You were without all of those guys, and you still emerged victorious against the Miami Heat team who didn't have Andrew Wiggins and didn't have Bam Adebayo, but they did have actual NBA players on the court. They had Jaime Jaquez, they had Tyler Hero, who went off, by the way, in that game, and the Mavericks still somehow won. They had Nikola Jovic, they had Alec Burks. Like, they had players who frankly should have beat the Mavs with absolute ease. But look, I really have liked the way this team has responded since the trade. They've won 4 of 5 going into the All-Star break, and they're playing hard as hell. Like, they really are. They're playing for each other. They're trying to support each other through extremely tough times. And I do think Jason Kidd's done a really good job coaching this team, given all of the injuries that have occurred. I mean, for God's sakes, we're starting Kessler, Edwards, and Olivier Maxence-Prosper at the 4 and the 5, and they're playing significant minutes. Like, I like Prosper. Him and Kessler Edwards should not be playing 30 minutes a night on an NBA basketball team. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what these guys are doing, and they're keeping it together. Now, out of the All-Star break, they should have PJ Washington back. I just want to double-check the schedule here. Washington was ruled out for the final 2 games, but they should have PJ back out of the break. So they play Friday in New Orleans, and then the Warriors again on Sunday before they take on the Los Angeles Lakers in LA on February 25th. So hopefully Washington is back for that one. And the Mavs have a center. If you have a name that you think the Mavericks should sign in NBA free agency, down in the comment section, go ahead and drop it down. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say on that. Like I said, the options, they're not pretty. But I do think they have to make a move to get literally a body in. And when you have an open roster spot, you might as well use it. So that's kind of where I'm at with this team right now. I really liked how they responded from the trade and how they're going into the break, winning 4 or 5. They're a couple of plays away, 1 play away literally, from a 5-game win streak if they had beat Sacramento, which, given everything that's happened, is pretty wild to think about, that this team has more or less treaded water since the Luka Doncic trade, which, frankly, I'm surprised, given everything that's going on, all the fan unrest, all of the unrest in the front office, all of just the surprise things that have happened. But shout out to Max Christie, who's absolutely hooping for this team right now. He had another great game against the Heat, coming up with some key rebounds. Let me double check his stat line. I don't remember if he got to 15 or not, but if he did, that would mark 15 in all of his Mavericks performances in 6 straight. Yeah, he got to 19. So Max Christie, in his last 6 games with the Mavericks, is averaging over 17 points a game. It's pretty insane what he's been doing for this team lately, man. I really like how he's responded and how he responded to the trade. Like, he was as shocked as everybody else was. And just look at these stat lines for Christie since he joined the Mavs. That Philadelphia, 15, 15, 23, 15, 17, and 19. Christie has been an absolute godsend for this team, and I frankly don't know where the Mavericks would be if it weren't for Max Christie, which is absolutely crazy. He has been their best player throughout this stretch. Now, obviously, Kyrie dropped 42 against the Warriors. Klay was great as well, but Christie has been their most consistent player. He's played a lot of minutes, and he has basically carved out a role for himself in this team, even if the Mavericks do end up getting back healthy, whether it's the first guy off the bench or even in the starting lineup. So we'll see what happens out of the break, but I really like where this team sits right now. Hopefully they can get some more health over the All-Star break, losing my words there. But we'll see what happens, man. We got 25, 26 games left in the season, and it's go time. This team sits 8th in the Western Conference. They need to try to get that top 6. I think 6 is probably the highest that they could end up getting. But as long as you stay either 7th or 8th and you get that home playoff game, and you get 2 chances in the play-in to win to go to the postseason. So hopefully they can stay 7th or 8th, and then we'll see what happens from there. That's going to be it for today's show. I appreciate you guys tuning in here on a Friday. My name is Jeffrey Cooperstein. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you soon here on the channel. If anything happens over the weekend, I'm going to be away, so we'll probably do a short on that. But stay tuned, and we'll see you guys soon here on the channel. Peace out, guys.